Me now to expand on this, and the 28 bullet proposal is the chairman of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, his founder, Cliff May. Cliff, from what you know of the 28 points, doesn't look good for Ukraine. This is heavily tilted towards Russia, don't you think?
Yeah, I do, Brian. I absolutely do. Look, I think what is possible is that this could be a starting point for negotiations, and maybe you could have a ceasefire with the negotiations proceeding. Zelensky has said, I'll negotiate, and this could be where we start. If it's a take it or leave it, this is what you get, nothing more, and the U.S. cuts off intelligence sharing and other support that it gives, well, then I think it's I don't see Zelensky saying, yes, we accept this. It's too much, it's, as you say, too much tilted towards what Putin wants.
For example, they're going to cap the size of the Ukrainian armed forces to 600,000. What is Russia afraid that Ukraine's going to invade? Do we remember who started this war?
The predator here is Putin. The prey here is Ukraine. That's absolutely clear. And Ukraine has a right to defend itself. You don't want them set up for another invasion later when Putin would take over everything. I'll give you just a couple more quick examples. Point 3, it is expected that Russia will not invade neighboring countries and NATO will not expand further. Who expects that? I don't know anybody who expects that for Russia. And as for NATO, NATO doesn't expand. Free nations may choose to apply to become members of NATO, which is a defensive alliance and nothing else. Point 16, Russia will enshrine in law its policy of non-aggression toward Europe and Ukraine. Enshrine in law? Putin is the law in Russia. He has been for more than 20 years. So, again, this could be a starting point. But there need to be further negotiations from there. And if that's what this is, and it's a way to get Putin to the table, which has been difficult to do, okay, that can fly. But if it's take it or leave it, my way or the highway, then a lot more people are going to die because the Ukrainians are not going to, listen, they don't want to give up their independence, their sovereignty, their freedom, their language, their culture, and that's exactly what Putin wants of them.
Also, some areas, when they talk about Donetsk, giving up all of the Donbas region, Donetsk. I just spoke to a general who is tapped in as well as anyone I know about this war. The Russians have got 1 mile, have gained 1 mile in a year. And Donetsk would take 3 years, they estimate, if they wanted to take it. That's saying that Ukraine doesn't bolster and find a way to push them back, or the Russian army doesn't collapse, because they're basically grabbing soldiers from Africa against their will and having them fight for them. So that won't actually work. The problem is, they're trying to pin Zelensky to the scandal. By all reports, he has nothing to do with this. So, and the people of Ukraine have a vote. They're not going to agree to a plan that makes their four-year fight look useless or worthless.
Exactly right, Brian. And something else. You mentioned the soldiers they've dragooned from Africa. You also have North Koreans both fighting, working in factories. You have the regime in Tehran helping with the Shahed drones. You have China supplying technology and other benefits. Ukraine is not fighting just Putin. Ukraine is fighting what we at FDD call the axis of aggressors. And the axis of aggressors, what do they have in common? Not ideology. What they have in common is weakening the United States wherever they can. Think of Xi Jinping. If the U.S. is not willing, with no boots on the ground, to support Ukraine, even in terms of intelligence gathering, if the U.S. is allowing Putin to win, do we really think that Taiwan's not going to be taken by Xi Jinping? Do we really? Look, Trump has done a wonderful job. He's kept the Islamic Republic of Iran from getting nuclear weapons to better fulfill its vow of death to Israel and death to America. But it's not over. The axis of aggressors knows what it wants, and it wants America never to be great again.
Yes, and we're pushing back on that, and hopefully this is a starting point, and the president knows this. Basically, if it's signed off like this, Ukraine lost, and that would be on the president's baseball card as much as it would be Ukraine's, and I don't think he likes to lose, especially after all the time he invested in trying to bring peace there. Thanks so much, Cliff.
Thank you.